Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another GeekVerse review episode for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I am one of your hosts, the Webster, Kirkland Patzer.
I'm the finesse, Travis now.
I am the What a Show, Taylor Field.
The What a Show, Taylor Field. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final episode for season 1 of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I say season 1 because there's a lot of, we'll talk spoilers, but man, I need more of this. But
Season 2's confirmed.
I know. I'm just giddy.
Okay.
I'm just
And
kidding.
they're working on season 3.
Yeah, before we get into that, just a couple of things to shout out here. We got tons of content dropping right now. We got what other shows are we doing right now? We got Dexter finale coming up.
And he knows no,
we got
Dexter
Daredevil going to be starting up here. We're getting close to the end of February, which means
Dexter ended already. You said it's coming up, the finale. We did that last week, Kirkland, remember?
Oh my goodness, you got me there. Yes,
Yeah.
Honey?
Agassi, who is the head.
I'm gonna fucking kill you!
Not a clip I was expecting to see in a Spider-Man episode, but here we are. So but I don't know. Help me out, guys. What do we got dropping right now? We just did an originals for the Patreons.
Yeah, that'll drop soon for the patrons once I edit that. But that's a great show where we just talk about random stuff, our lives. Lots of good tangents. This one, the big things I'll pump out right now is our Golden Geeks. We've got Marvel Golden Geeks, which is dropped for public and Patreon feeds. And then the regular Golden Geeks is on the Patreon one, and then it will be on the regular feed soon. Very controversial, so I think that is worth the price of coffee right there. The $5 that gets you hundreds of hours of exclusive content, but that right there, that's already people are talking about that one. But also, to do a cheap plug for me, I'm doing my Oscar predictions, and if you're into that, I'm doing that Sunday 11 a.m. and if you want to join like last year, I'm inviting the patrons, so it's like after 9 where I'm going to drop a link and people will be on there. We're just going to, like we did with our fantasy draft, we're going to do a pool and the winner gets to pick a movie. So if you like the Oscars, if you're a patron, you want to become one, you want to talk and chat, I'll be doing that Sunday. And then you hit the nail on the head with Daredevil. Me and Taylor got news coming up as well. Weekly Geek, that's
Weekly
back.
Geeks returning. Yes.
Yeah, Weekly Geek. So that means there's going to be a newscast pretty much for the rest of the year now, because there's so much news and we kept messing with the reviews. And Weekly Geek is always, it's two of us, so you're always getting a different combination of geeks. We'll still always do at least one episode a month of even next week we got a Daredevil predictions, all four of us. But Weekly Geek is to make sure we're covering the news, because even me and Tara, the topics we have right now, just a boatload of stuff. So lots of things going on.
Can't wait. Yeah, you mentioned Patreon. That's the best way to support us. You get everything early, ad-free. There's exclusive content out there. We've already talked about a couple things on there. I heard through the grapevine there might be the final Daredevil retrospective episode dropping here pretty soon. So that'll be on the Patreon right away and then to the main feeds before Daredevil Born Again comes out.
I hope.
From what
If not,
I hear.
they lose their shares.
That's also what I heard through the grapevine. But shouts out to our Patreon producers, the highest tier. We got Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, The Good God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, and Charlie Randell. Thank you to each and every one of you. Alrighty, I want to get right into it because this is, never mind. I guess we won't spoil anything yet. But overall, thoughts on the show, guys. It's over here. I feel like this was a really fast show to get through, even though it wasn't like a 6-episode show or anything. First, what did you think of the show? What do you think of the finale? And what do you think about this formula for releasing episodes this way? Because it's like a little burst fire. It starts with 2 episodes and then 3 episodes in between, and the finale is another 2-episoder. I personally really, really liked it just because I was really, really liking the show. And another show that I'd bring up is like something like Creature Commandos, where I felt I really liked the show, but just having it only 1 episode a week, I was still there every week, but I think I didn't really have a lot of hype because it would just take a long time between episodes. I do like this formula where I get 3 episodes, which is, that's like an hour-and-a-half movie essentially, and then I can just stew on that for a week and then come back. But what about you guys? Discuss.
Oh my gosh. For me, the show was absolutely just incredible.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. Holy shit. It was just fantastic. When we get to this finale, unfreaking believable. I was loving it, and everything was just coming full circle. Everything was expanding and opening up at the end, and it was just holy shit. I was there, and I can't wait to talk about one specific thing in that final episode. It was great, but just all these little Easter eggs and just things like you gotta pause and you gotta look at this whole scene and like take notes. Like, oh man, I gotta refer like look at what this is later, and just like go into Google and just type in all these other things. Like, oh, this is gonna lead to this, and this will be this. Oh, this is so cool. Like, it just gets me super super pumped, and I'm very happy about that because when the show was announced, there was excitement, but when we actually started, I thought, okay, I wasn't super gung ho in getting into the show right at the start, but it very quickly turned that around for me the more I watched it. And so I've been recommending this show to everyone that I bump into that, you know, I know likes, for the most part, superhero stuff, and telling them like, yeah, give this show a try. It's awesome. And even the animation that people were shitting on, that completely goes out the window so fast. The way that this show uses that art style to have it where all of a sudden they're fighting in the comic book panels, and then it like the attacks like move out of the panels, the borders, and like jumps into another frame of the comic book. There's just, it's such quality, and I'm so very happy with this show. My God, this is one of my favorite 2025 projects so far of the year.
Nice.
What are your others?
Yeah.
Give me your top 5.
Yeah,
We're only in
I got
February.
none.
It's okay.
Taylor, what do you think about the episode release though? Like in 2 episodes, then 3, then 3.
This is perfect. I'm so like I'm sad that it's done, but I'm so happy that we're able to just get like 2 back-to-back, 3 back-to-back kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's just it was great. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm of two. Like, I'll start there. I'm of two minds of it because I think it's tricky with animation because you don't get the same audience, so you're kind of hoping for that burst cluster. But at the same point, you do risk the fact of it coming out so much, and then people are like, "Oh, I wanted to get to that," and then it just goes in the back burner, and you never get to that. I think if I would have chosen, I would have had Creature Commandos do the burst, and this could have been weekly because I think this is like a much better show than Creature Commandos. I think there's more times where I felt satisfied and ended on a cliffhanger with this show, being like, "Oh, I can't wait." Or Creature Commandos, like, "Oh, that's another like solid episode of the creatures," you know. Like I don't think it, because it's tricky because the way that format of that show when it was like with the action, but then a lot of the flashbacks, you never, to me, were left too many times. Like, I gotta see what's next. A few times with Spider-Man, I think they had that. Yeah, so I think they could do it again, but I could see with the show having a bit more hype that they do it weekly next time. But I think also goes into what they have, right? The same way as Daredevil. That release, it has 9 episodes, but we're getting 2 weeks where there's 2 episodes, right? Just because they don't want to go with Andor. So it literally might not even be that where it's like, oh, we think this is best. It's also just like what we got: Andor, Daredevil, Ironheart, Wonder Man, Marvel Zombies. It could just be a case if they did this because like, well, we got too much shit right now, right? So let's see. I think season 2, they should, because they said they got season 2 done. They're animating that, and then you got season 3. What I would do, even though you guys like it more, I would honestly do season 2 1 week, and then you have 2 seasons and compare it and see, okay, which worked better for you. It's like literally what streamed it more, what got more, because this is obviously Kirkland's still very far behind. But Invincible, that was a huge complaint, and it did kind of kill the show where they did season 2 and they did a halfway break, and they came back months later, and that just derailed all the hype for the show. And I don't think it's been this, like, I think it lost audience and never been the same since. So you do got to be tricky, but yeah, overall, I think the show, I don't think I'm nowhere near as strong as Taylor. I don't think it's like sure, I can say it's one of my favorite projects of the year, but again, it's in February. So if the rest of the MCU projects or Marvel projects are this good, that'd be great, because Cap wasn't this, so I'd love it. So definitely I could say right now this is the one to beat. And I do think other than F4, I don't know what could beat it, because a lot of these other projects I'm very like iffy on. But yeah, I thought it was a very solid, I'll say very good final 2 episodes. I still think the middle season I liked the best. I think the finale was good, but it also was and like luckily we're in season 2, but it was tons of setup, almost so much setup that I thought you could have held some stuff back. Like, I love, you know, we're non-spoilers, but someone getting a sidekick, but at the same time, it's like, is that really needed here? But I think they're just trying to bank on, hey, you got to come back, so they're throwing everything at the wall. So I thought the pacing was a bit off, and I don't love the direction of one way we're going for season 2, because I just feel like so much Spider-Man content is always about getting this certain plot, and it's like, okay, I think we could take a little break. I know Kirkland might disagree because he has a poster of one of these things in his room, but I just feel like, okay, like, let's take a pause on this. There's other Spider-Man stories we could do here, but overall, very good. I think, yeah, the animation got better or was used better later on, and that suit looked fantastic. A lot of the animation looked fantastic. Finale had a very fun, clever, multiversal-ish sort of thing. I suppose, but whatever. It's the last 2 episodes, and I thought that was fun. Yeah, no, I thought it was a very good final 2 episodes, and definitely left me wanting more. I'm excited to see where we go. Now, I hope though with season 2, I hope it is something where it is at least next year, because I don't know if the show it has the hype, but I don't know if it has the same 97 hype where that's going to come in and be like, oh, people no matter what watch it. I could see people not fall off, but if you take too long, people do forget about things, right? And you'll have Spider-Verse coming back at some point in the real life Spider-Man. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, very good show. I'll obviously save my score to the end, but I'm happy it got better as it went on for me.
Nice. Yeah. I overall for this season, just stellar for me. Just absolutely stellar. I was so blown away by these last 2 episodes. I really, really, I already talked about like the episode release format, but just kind of the formula for how they told the season. Like there is a lot of setup at the end for another season, but I just love the way that they kind of tied up the knots for like the main plots, you know, that were introduced here. Obviously, you know, we're still going on. It's not everything closed out here. A lot of setup for sure in the finale, but I felt like in the penultimate episode, it was like the closing chapter for this season, and then the 10th episode being like the epilogue and like leading into the next. Well, I'll detail that when we get
That's
into
fair,
spoilers,
yeah.
but I was able to like fully, I don't know, close the book on like the plot lines in the second last episode, and then in the finale, I was just juicing. You know, I sent you guys the Talladega Nights, you know, chick on the window. That's how I felt just watching really both of these episodes. But honestly, throughout the whole season, I've never like made a tier list or like ranked like my favorite like Spider-Man storylines or anything like that. But like just off the hop, I feel like this is like top 3. And like maybe that's being a little too generous, but like I was just so in love with the way that they did certain characters' dynamics, the setup of certain villains, and just the origins of so many characters that like Nico and Peter as just like friends is just such a great dynamic. I really, really like how they're not even trying to like shoehorn like a romantic relationship, because that's usually always what happens with Peter Parker. It's just they're just buddies, you know, and like I just really love their chemistry. I like the spider crew that we have, kind of just like Peter's guy in the chair, and then just like the whole dynamic of balancing like the friendly neighborhood aspect to it. I think the show does a really good job at keeping it really grounded. Matt Gargan, man, as a villain, like this is probably like one of the best like versions of Matt Gargan ever, of like making him feel ferocious and not just like a fucking what he was in Homecoming, you know, where he's just like a goon. So there's so many aspects of the show that I really, really appreciate, really, really love. And yeah, just the way that they were able to tell this season's story, I was so impressed by, and it really surpassed my expectations for what I had going into it. And yeah, no, I think it's so fantastic. I really love the animation, really love the drawing style. I love like the modernness on like the old 60s inspired like just drawing style, the comic book like just boxes. Like it's just such a fun show to watch. And yeah, I'm gonna be itching for the next season. I like the release format, but it's also like, fuck, it just started, I feel like, you know, just a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, no, but I highly, highly recommend this to everyone. Hopefully everybody just keeps watching the show and it just keeps doing crazy numbers, because I just want to keep going down this universe's storylines.
So I know you're a Spidey guy, so I'm sure I know your answer. But if you had to rank this, 97, and Cape Crusader, what's your ranking of those 3?
Ooh, that's a really spicy list, because I was thinking about this and 97 and not really about Cape Crusader, but
That was just last year, remember? Because they did
yeah,
a binge drop, right? So it's so funny. We got different styles of like 97 was weekly, Capes was binge, and then this was like a multi.
that's so tricky. I might be lying to myself here, but I would probably put 97 last, honestly.
Wow.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. Jeez Louise. I got 97
Just-
first.
Yeah, I think
Jeez.
I would do.
Taylor, you still need to get on the Cape Crusader route. Next time you're a Batman moved, it's on Amazon. Just put it on.
They're all just like so
scratches
there
the
though.
itch.
Like it's tough to really differentiate them all. But yeah, I have too much Spider-Man properties in this room alone to not put it at number 1. But
So we both got Batman in the middle, and then
Yeah.
our 1 and 2 are flipped, or our 1 and 3. So yeah.
Because Cape Crusader is just so good. Also, it's just a Batman story. Like I've always loved Batman, but I feel like that just made me appreciate that type of like, I don't know, dark gritty animation style, the noir aspects of the show. Everybody go watch that too. But
When you watch it, Taylor, when you watch Batman Cape Crusader,
Oh,
there's so much good stuff in there that you'd love, Taylor.
I will make a point of seeing it.
Kirkland, when you catch up on Invincible.
Let me finish Daredevil and then we'll talk.
All right.
I got priority list.
I'll do that.
Cool. All right. If there's nothing left to be said, we're gonna skedaddle on over to the spoiler section. So we're gonna go through the ad curtain here. We'll be right back. Okay. Here we are.
It took a
past
while to
the-
get
the
through that
ad
curtain. I was getting lost in there.
Not
What
if
the
you're a
fuck am I-
patron. Patron, you
No.
know, they go right through that ad curtain.
No curtain.
But,
There's in the back and a blowy.
I'm not gonna promise you get blowies if you join the patron, but there's some good
Depends the tier. We can make it tier. Let's talk.
money talks. Money talks.
Yeah, let's talk.
All right, where do you guys want to start from? There's a lot of juice in like the last finale episode. Do we want to wait to get there because episode 8 was heavy? But
Well, yeah, that's fine. I was going to take us somewhere that wasn't there, so maybe that'll
let's do
work.
it.
But because you talked about being non-spoilers, I was mad. I was one episode off because Scorpion did come back as that final boss, but he did get destroyed here. Not destroyed, but he lost. But I thought, I'm like, oh, my prophecy is right. Obviously, they were doing some very different stuff for what the actual finale was, like with the time travel stuff that I had no idea
yeah,
that was going to go down, which I do feel better because on the whole, I hated the two things I hated was, okay, it's Holland Spider-Man. Okay, it's not that. And then when we got the pitch, it's like, okay, Peter Parker gets bit by a multiverse spider. I was like, oh man, like I don't like this. And like it is a multiverse spider now, but it's not like, it's just like, it's a time traveling spider. So like there is some shenanigans, but it's still like from our world in a sense. So I did end up enjoying that where it kind of helped something down the line. But yeah, I was close with Scorpion, but great scene. Like you said, he's intimidating and great fight scene, great moments with the, whatever they are, the 10s or the 9s, whatever the hell they are. And then
the 110th
obviously-
Street gang.
Yeah. And then
I can't remember what
obviously-
the Scorpions are, or are they just called Scorpions?
I think they got a bunch of Scorpion tattoos, so
Yeah.
something like that. But then, yeah, Tombstone getting some great moments to shine. Yeah, so Scorpion was a big shining point in here, and I wouldn't be opposed to him coming back next season. But I think with already how busy we are, I don't foresee him coming back right now. Because even stuff like last week, we met Chameleon, right? And it's like he didn't get beat. So I think maybe he could come down the line, but it might be hell. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Sinister Six at some point too. So
Oh man, goosebumps! Like I think that the way that they handled him goes to show that like they can take. Not, I don't want to say a lesser villain, but like a lesser
B-tier.
big bad, a B tier
Yeah.
villain, and like really stretch it out for a season. And like, man, imagine if this show just keeps going. We get six seasons of this, you know, like they come back to Clash. I'm just juicing over the possibilities. But I love the look of his suit too. Like it looked very like junkyard suit, but also like advanced tech. Like I
Had
love
the
the style
mask,
and
which was
his
good.
attitude. Like it just felt like I was playing PS1 Spider-Man again and just getting my ass handed to me by Scorpion because he's just so strong and I can't beat the boss fight. Like even the way that he shocks him, like he like jumps out of the way, the stinger comes in, hits the lightning. I'm like, man, this is literally like a boss battle. I'm pretty sure I fought the Rhino like this in the PS1 Spider-Man game. So I love the combat in here, but specifically everything around Scorpion. It was so juicy and like he probably had Peter honestly without Tombstone's help. Like he had
his chance, yeah.
he had the motivation to save Tombstone, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think Scorpion would have had him without the twofer.
Yeah, I think the whole fight scene was it was definitely an amp up from the last time they faced off, but I liked getting to the point where Peter was going to just fucking execute him. It was like, this is Holland Spider-Man dealing with Goblin, and I 100%. Oh, yeah, I'd say 100%. I was fully believing he was actually going to kill him because I thought this show was
Peter?
going to be. I thought the things we've
No,
seen
Peter
in this
was
show.
gonna kill him.
Peter was going to kill him. I thought the things we've seen in this show have just really felt like flipped, and with Tombstone kind of being like a hero now all of a sudden, I thought, man, this would be crazy if they made Tombstone like a hero and then Spider-Man like murders a guy and then it's like a redemption later on. Like they can totally just turn this into a crazy what if scenario. So I really wasn't sure what to expect, except for the fact that, man, I really thought he was going to execute him, but Yeah, especially when you have Norman's like voice playing in his mind, like at that scene,
Yeah.
like respect, power. I'm thinking, fuck, he's gonna
I-
cross the line.
I would have had a lot of discord in the Spider-Man fans because obviously Spider-Man fans usually don't like when he's killing
Well-
people, kind of like Batman. So that would have been interesting to see if people would have
That's-
accepted that.
That's where I was at though, because like initially when he was about to kill him, I really didn't like it. It just seemed so rushed. I'm like, this feels like a symbiote Spider-Man thing, you know, and it's really like multiplying his emotions and just like really getting him angry. But like this is just very innocent young Peter. But then I'm thinking about like those versions that I'm used to seeing, where like the symbiote tweaks him, but he's like super super good before then. Like it doesn't seem like he's really had like the same maybe important talks with someone like a Ben Parker, like especially thinking about like the great power comes with great responsibility. Like thinking about the Sam Raimi. I'm gonna use that actually. The Samey Spider-Verse, where like I feel like when Peter is having issues about, I don't know, just hero stuff. Like he just thinks back to like that quote or that line or that conversation or that whatever it was. In the samey, it would be a Ben Parker, you know, great power comes great responsibility. But this Peter definitely didn't get those same types of things. If the first instance he's getting of a quote like that is from Norman Osborn with great power comes great respect, like fucking murder that man, you know, like
Yeah.
make him bleed.
They need to respect
Definitely
you, Peter.
his psyche would be a little bit different, right? So I was just thinking about that afterwards, and it definitely helped me palate that situation. Because initially I'm like, this is too far off the line. Like come on, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Like there's
But
he's
shows
executing
Peter's still a
him
good
in
person under
Daystrom.
there. You know, doesn't matter. There's still a good person with.
Well, no,
Peter, so-
Tombstone stopped it. He was gonna do it. If
You think he's
Tombstone
gonna
didn't,
do it?
I think so. I think he would have.
Yeah, because I saw people making the comparisons to No Way Home the same way Maguire stops Holland. So I guess he could have, but hopefully it's the same way as like. I guess in my mind, he might have done it, but it's kind of like how, you know, Toby, he refers back to when he killed. He didn't really kill him, but he did kill him. Like Ben Parker's murder, remember? He's like, in No Way Home, he's like, I wanted him dead and I got what I wanted. So, well, he tripped and fell through a window. But still, they chalked that up as like, well, Peter murdered that dude, right? But then, like, after that, Peter was okay. He wasn't like a fucking murderer or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
you're right, he did stop it. But I think the way he carried himself and talked after, and the way he kind of had that conversation with Norman, who Norman's just not gaslighting him, just a complete fake person. To me, at least showed that maybe you're right, that's something the split decision. But I also think if he would have done it, he maybe would have regretted it right away, and that would have been a moment that would get him on that track, you know. So that's the other way I took it too. But you're right, which is gonna be interesting for Tombstone, because in the end of the show we see him. He's left his jacket. He got whatever. Something in that truck. I don't know what it was, but that gas. He was
The
breathing for
Tombstone
all-
juice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it was officially listed as in the market, but the Tombstone juice. But yeah, he got super strength, all that stuff. But yeah, his skin starting to peel. You could see that white skin under there. So I'm interested in this route of like, hey, do we have him be like, is that the descent of, you see this guy who stopped Peter and then at some point he goes down a dark alley, or is he going to be kind of like how sometimes Kingpin is the Daredevil, right, where he's like a criminal but his pitch is always like, well, like I'm gonna be the right type of criminal that does this and this, and I'm better for the city. Like that's why I'm excited and interested to see where Tombstone goes, because really he should have took that from Peter and then he just kills Scorpion, right, and he's just like, yeah, I'm the fucking man now. But he still is like, you know, I won't say a hero, but he wasn't a bad guy. I don't think Tombstone. I think he's a criminal, but now he's leading the organization too. So I don't know. It's interesting with him. So
And definitely not the way that we predicted. Like we kind of had some different predictions. I assumed it was going to be Dawn dies or something, and that's how he picks up the mantle.
Yeah.
I think you said you thought he was going to maybe kill Dawn, just like
yeah,
flash
thoughts
with
on
them.
Dawn just ran away like a little bitch.
Just a
That's
little
the last we
bitch,
saw him.
yeah.
Never
Did not
liked
see
that
coming.
character.
Big Dawn.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what makes me think that they might do the more Kingpinish route where he is a bad guy, but he's never going to be like, and I'll fucking kill Aunt May. Like I don't think so. I think he'll be a criminal, but not a villain. If you get my drift.
That's why I'm so glad that like it didn't really happen this season where he is a bad, like an evil guy. Like there's some change in his behavior for sure. He's starting to turn to the gang life. But like at the end, he's like partnering up with Spider-Man. Like, don't worry, I got your back. They're like fist bumping. Like, I just fucking love that sequence. Like, that was awesome. I'm so glad he didn't come out of that truck. And it's just like he's a mad evil guy now because the gas
Blames
just
it on
tweets.
Spider-Man for
Yeah, or
giving
like
him
maybe the
this
gas
shit.
just tweaks his brain and now he's like a maniac. Like I'm so glad it wasn't that fast. You know, like we have
walks
some
up to
time to
Peter.
speak.
Huh? Isn't that right? Huh, brother?
Oh, and like who knows? Maybe we have a time skip from season 1 to season
Yeah.
2, so we jump in. He's got a lot more patches, and he's just getting more into the crime scene. Like he's clearly fitting in there. He's the leader now. Like he's found his family, and I
Fishy
just
left
feel like
school.
initially in early portions of the season when he was starting to turn to the 110th gang, it felt so early for me to just trust that like the motivation of the bind would be there because it's just. That's not what was shown here. But then as the season went on, it like, you know, maybe he was just really putting on all these acts because he feels like that's the role he needs to. Whereas here he can be more of himself. And it just feels a little bit more natural. I don't know. I'm just a little bit more warm to the idea. But I did not expect Donovan to just run away like that. Initially, I'm like, that is so fucking stupid, this guy that's supposed to be. But like, I don't know. Maybe it fits. Like he's never seen someone like this before, right? Like he's only ever seen regular gangs, not like powers at like the point
Yeah.
where he's about to lose his life.
Escalation's too much for him.
I did appreciate though, and like, you know, not a fan of, you know, don't push for gang violence or anything, but I like that just the hand-to-hand combat in these gang fight scenes. Like fuck guns these days, man. Like let's just brawl it out with some fucking pipes and fisticuffs.
That's what we do when we have a problem at GeekVerse. We don't chat.
Oh, yeah.
We just be in a
Tarps
room
off.
and just,
Out the window when the moment the guy with the fucking
naked.
gamma fueled scorpion tail walks in, and
I
Big
appreciate
Don's
everyone's
still
just
thinking
still
he
like
can
fist
win.
fighting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well they still the 110th still thinks that they can do this. Big Don's like, let's get him, like, and we already know how this is gonna play out. Like, god damn.
Yes.
I'm what was I gonna say?
We're talking about Tombstone. Talking about
Yeah, how
train.
long do you think Tombstone can ride that train with his parents? Like, oh, I'm going to school, get my GED. Yeah, I got tests. Like, I love you too,
Well-
Mom. Like, that's not gonna last.
Well, plus,
I
once
s-
the skin is kind of going, they're gonna have some questions, right? Like,
Oh,
even
yeah.
then they'd want to get him checked out. Like, I don't think long next
Well,
season.
If he's taking his GED, he's like done high school. So like I imagine he's just gonna be like, yeah, moving on with his life. He's an adult now. He's gonna move out of the house and just go that way. Like he's just gonna be probably living with the gang if he's
But
looking
then
for
he
a home
must.
for them.
That's where if he's gonna ditch his parents, I think he's gonna be leaning more into that mentality that you were talking about earlier, which we thought I hope he doesn't have it when he gets out of the van and he's just like, "Fuck Spider-Man," like that anger, that insanity kind
Is he
of
gonna
mindset.
finish high school though?
I think he's just lying. He's not doing
Yeah,
it.
because to me, I took it as his jack in the garbage was like he ain't going back, like to even finish high school. So that's where it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, what's gonna happen come graduation day and their son's not there.
I just assumed he was smart enough that he could like pass the GED, like bare minimum, just take the test, not necessarily study. But
Yeah.
you're like you said, no reason to even go take the test if he's just going full gangster.
I guess he doesn't. He could just say he doesn't want to go to graduation too. Great, just says he's done with high school and stuff and everything. So I guess there's ways around it. So it will be, yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing with his brother and stuff. But and also too, like it we don't got the fuck Spider-Man, but they could do that down the line that gas hurts him more and more like a goblin thing, right? It could be that he starts to lose himself. So as of right
Yeah.
now, it's just powers and skin, but it could be
Definitely.
like it's deteriorating his mind. So that's what I
Absolutely.
love. There's multiple routes, and like I said, I'd maybe like them to go a different route other than fuck Spider-Man because I feel like we're gonna get that with Norman, right? He's gonna take a serum and then he's gonna turn into the Goblin, right? So I feel like if Tombstone does that, you might be kind of repetitive, and I feel like the show so far has done they get on the classic line, but then do some twists along the way. If it's just he becomes a guy that hates Spider-Man, it's like, well, other than him knowing Peter, that's not much of a twist, right? It's Tombstone's a criminal that doesn't like Spider-Man. We've ended up at the same point, right? And I feel like Goblin is the same one that we all think, yeah, do that. But I'd be fine if they did some new stuff. You know, again, if he was like, I don't know, if there's even a way to get him on the crime fighting side at some point, right? I don't know. Like,
Norman?
No, Tombstone, not Norman. I think
Oh.
Norman's far gone.
Yeah.
Because with Norman, that's what was interesting in this to me. Like we talked about, like he is bad, but still, like there's different versions, and it's like, is it a level of is he a villain or is he trying to do good but bad things? That whole conversation with Doc Ock was like, oh no, he's still just a fucking piece of shit. Like I feel like he's even more evil than like. Even I make the case for like Defoe's Norman. At times he's trying to do the right thing, right, and he goes about it wrong. But now this conversation with Doc Ock, I was like, oh no, I don't
Well-
even know if he's trying to do the right thing at all, really.
Especially with Norman, he like, okay, questionable methods sometimes, but like he really wasn't an evil guy until he took the serum, right? Like that's really what
yeah, no,
snapped
he was
him.
just like
Yeah.
a prick, right? He was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's and obviously with That's kind of the same thing if you look at Amazing Spider-Man, like the movie, and like the comics are kind of all over. I like sometimes they are Norman's a bad guy and Gotham's a worse guy, or it is Norman's a regular father figure trying to do good, but
Yeah.
asshole, but then evil. And I think there's good versions of both because I like the nice Defoe, but I also love the pitch that people say like Green Goblin is like Lex Luthor and the Joker put together, which is very fun. So it's
Yeah.
kind of depends, but yeah, here I think he's just a bad guy now.
Yeah, no, well, like the fact that he's been playing like just this whole thing out right from the beginning. Like he got all these interns, not just Peter, all these interns to like make this fucking super teleportation device thing that he has. Like he's just playing everyone all the time, and I just feel like that sinister. I guess it's not necessarily sinister, but like for him it's sinister. Like he's just always planning and like just trying to get that ultimate power, right? And just not being truthful and trusting. Like that's where this Norman versus like a Defoe Norman, pre back to formula. I definitely think this one's a lot more evil if we were to put that.
He's
that
way
term
more
on it.
evil. I mean,
Yeah.
he's harvested Peter's blood and is creating an army of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that's
true,
Fucked,
yeah.
man.
Probably took semen too, all the
Oh, yeah.
samples.
I don't know how you got that. Skirt pie.
Got a syringe
Yeah. So I didn't know that could work. You just stick it in there.
right in
But
the
yeah,
sack. Yeah.
I forgot about the blood. That's another big no because that's like against your will sort of stuff. So that's
Yeah.
It would tie him out with when he got his Scorpion fight, right? And they got all that blood from him from his injuries, and they would have put it on file. But I'm curious about that when we get into time travel. That the paradox of that. So like Spider-Man is with Doctor Strange, and the spider with Peter's DNA drops the portal and then bites Peter. So that would mean that blood is harvested from Spider-Man Peter. But that means it has to start from a non-Spider, like it starts from a Spider-Man Peter at some point in history, but then that Peter would not have been bitten by the spider because it had to have been
Yeah.
It's a chicken
Forever
egg
loop.
scenario.
I got really hyped on just the way that things were playing out because as soon as Doctor Strange was like, I don't know who, like I wasn't there, and then I'm
don't
like
know
putting
shit.
it together. I'm like, oh my god, that hasn't happened yet. Like we're going back to formula here. We're going back there. Like I was just juicing. I was getting goosebumps. I was just loving the fight scene and everything. It was so visually pleasing. And then like that's when I started thinking about it, where I'm like, well, this is the same fucking spider that like he wouldn't have gotten the blood if he didn't go through this event already. So then I just chose to just
But it's like a Back
I'm
to
gonna
the
try not to
Future.
think about it too much because I think the best way to explain it would be it's like a timeline that's just it's like a ruler, and then you're like here on the ruler, and then all of a sudden like this portion of the ruler it's still there, like it is a line, they're just accessing it. So I don't
It's
really love
awesome.
time travel explained that way typically because I just don't necessarily love the idea of just everything's planned out already. Like it's happening. Whether you like it or not, like the book is written, like it's just that's what happens there. Just kind of, I don't know, taps into the free will topic maybe. But here, I think it was just, I love the way that it played out. Like I really love the full circle moment going back to episode 1. It was just, it was so well done. And like I said, like it came after the penultimate episode. So like we closed the Matt Gargan threat and like just the 1/10 stuff. And then here it's just like I wasn't even expecting this type of adventure. Norman just takes us to this back room, and it's just like, yeah, and I took your device and this device, and I just made the Infinity Gauntlet more or less for time travel, and it was just, yeah. Doctor Strange showed up. I was feasting on all of the setup that I really wasn't bothered by the time travel thing, and I just chose to look past it, not dissect it too much, because
Oh yeah.
check out the Endgame review. We spent a lot of time talking about that stuff.
People know me. I don't give a shit about the time travel. It's just like we're in a world with like wizards and symbiotes. It's like however it works. At some point, that's how it started. I again with the Norm thing, I really enjoy that in front of everybody when Doctor Strange is there. He's like motherfucker him, and he's like being the good guy babyface. Like we gotta clean after your messes, and we don't know what you do and everything like that. So again, in the public, still seems like that great guy trying to do good, right? And even then, like he had that phone conversation with Peter. Peter does tell him to go, and he goes. Like at no point in that scene was Norman like, "And fuck you, Peter!" Like forgetting the way he still.
I want to fucking kill you.
yeah. He still played his role very well, so I think that was smart. And that was the only thing where I liked the idea. I thought some of the great animation was, or I thought the animation was great when they are in space and go through all this stuff. My only hang-up was I just don't need the symbiote right now. And I just feel like because
Yeah.
it feels like it's an exact. Obviously, the stories are very different, right? But minor spoilers for you, Taylor. But it's the exact trajectory that the video games are on right now, where first game is Peter's adventure, second game symbiote, and that's leading to Goblin, right? That's exactly what we're doing here. Where I don't think we get Green Goblin next one. It's going to be some symbiote, and then it's going to be Storm and Norman for 3. My counterpoint is at least they've been doing things differently enough. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But it's not like I'm over the symbiote. But between the games and Venom and everything, and just because it's happened a lot. Like I was kind of hoping they'd go somewhere else as like the big threat maybe next year. Because I like stuff like you said, Scorpion becoming maybe like more an 8 here in the show. Do that with somebody else. Get Shocker in there. Get Chameleon, even Vulture.
Rhino.
But Venom's already on that. Like, yeah, fuck, give me a great Rhino. But like, Venom's on that A tier already, right? It's like you don't need to like
S tier.
Yeah,
he's got his own movies. He's got
I
3
agree.
movies. Memories. Won't
To
forget
me,
you,
S
buddy.
tier is that it's him, Doc Ock, and Gollum. I'm a Gollum guy. I think he's the top Marvel one, but still, like for me, it's like I don't know if I need Venom right away. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they've done great spins with this show. But it's just I hope it's not like and here's my friend Eddie Brock, and it's like I hope it's something different. And even it's like I don't want to be Harry because we're getting them the games and we got them the Ultimate Universe. Like that's where I just don't know what route they're gonna go. So I'll wait and see. But I was a little like okay. I don't need symbiote directly right now. So
They've had zero setup to it, but I feel like a perfect villain to have in the show because it would just fit so well is Mysterio. I just feel like they could do so much fun stuff with a Mysterio storyline and just nothing's set up that way, so I really don't think it's going to happen at least next season. But
or even Kraven, I'd love a good Kraven. Also, I've still not seen the movie, but one of those people that. But again, they just did it in the game too, right? So that's another thing. I hope it's not that. I hope it's not. Venom's
Mr. Negative.
Here. Mr. Negative would be Mr. Negative would fit perfectly in the show, and I feel like the animation would be fire, absolutely fire.
Oh man, yeah, no, absolutely. They could play around with some fun stuff there. No, I'm a little in the middle for the Venom stuff because I really like the initial setup, like in episode 1. I'm like, wow, it's nice. It's not Venom, it's like a symbiote, but it looks like a saber tooth thing. Like he's got like the fur coat with like some mandibles. It's just a very different style of a symbiotic creature, even though it looks like Venom. And then when they had the portal, I was all over it. I'm like, I love that this is just like a space Venom entity that's
Where's
like
Null?
not. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't Null. Like it's like let's just have this like black gooey thing with a scary face in space, and it's just it like reabsorbs itself. Like it's just this thing.
Could be Null eventually. That was looking like a symbiote planet though. When they threw him back, that was like and I don't know if I need Null in this show because I feel like could be more serious. But that was a big time symbiote planet that.
I feel like I didn't really. I'll have to pull up the episode. I didn't really stare too long at the planet itself. They shot out and then I just saw space.
It's looking murky.
Okay.
Because there was when they throw them back, there is like a moon or something below them. So I would just assume it's like okay, that is some sort of planet. But it is kind of funny. Like obviously Taylor would probably know who, but with this and Batman Cape Crusader, they do that thing where it's like, oh, we didn't touch that villain, but in season 2, we're gonna do that. And I don't know if 97. I can't remember if 97 alluded to anybody that was big, but so again, I get it, right? Because that's it's a good go-to for Spider-Man.
It's a great talking point, right, to end the season that way. Like people are just holy fuck, he's coming. It's the same thing you already talked about the PS4 video game, like the way that was just had people buzzing and talking, couldn't wait about the playing the Venom.
And I just don't want. I don't know if I need another more so than the Eddie Brock or symbiote. I just don't need another like Peter Parker goes bad thing right now because I'm enjoying this Peter.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe down the line. So that's why I'm hoping maybe someone else gets it.
That's where I'm right there with you on like the Venom holdback. It is like just what it would do, to change Peter and the dynamic with his friends. Like it's just like man, like I feel
Nico,
like
Harry, the girl that likes him. I never remember her name.
Daredevil
Pearl.
symbiote. Could you imagine?
I'm fine. I'll take a Daredevil fighting Spider-Man episode, but yeah, it would be. They'll give it to Finesse.
I'd prefer what you. Finesse is that?
That's a sidekick. That's
okay.
Sidekick. I don't know that much
curious
about
who
her,
that
but yeah,
was.
that's her name, Finesse. I'm much more of a blind spot sidekick supporter, but here we are.
Blind Spot is his sidekick.
That's another one. Yeah,
Is he also blind?
His gimmick is he's deaf. I think that's what it is. Hang on, wait, I might be mixing them up. Hang on.
Okay. The Venom thing, I would prefer it just being like staying in the lab for most of maybe season 2 of like Oscorp is studying it or something. Maybe they're using it for its power, but like not necessarily full on Peter. But that's probably what's gonna happen. So I'm torn because I like the way that it was executed, but yeah, too early.
Okay, no, I was wrong. He was blinded by. Funny enough, I don't think he's in the show, but the villain that's in the Daredevil season 4 come up, Muse. Muse is who blinded him. So,
Ooh.
yeah, I'm not a fan of Daredevil sidekicks, but I did like blind spots. So finesse, whatever.
I like the like reveal that
Yeah.
character was more than just a regular character, and it's another thing I think the show is so good at is like combining storylines with characters and just like making even side characters feel really important, like to the overall story. The way that like things just loop back around, just the way that like the interns actually had like use. You know, like without them, they actually wouldn't have had this massive portal. So like they weren't just characters for like comedic relief when Peter would be in that zone. Like they were doing stuff even when Peter wasn't around them. So yeah, it just great constructed season for me overall.
And don't forget, you get a Hulk in those interns as well. Cho is he becomes a Hulk at some
Amadeus
point, so.
Cho, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. The
I can't
5.0
remember.
GPA,
Yeah,
the legend himself.
Someone searched it up. It's like it's not Incredible Hulk, but it's like the Amazing Hulk or the Outstanding Hulk. It's some fucking nickname that is different.
Amadeus.
but
Oh yeah, look at that.
The absolute
superhero
Hulk, it's-
appearing in American comic books.
What's his name?
Brawn, Iron Spider, Mastermind, Excello, Prince of Power.
No, that's not where we're going. Did you search Amadeus Cho?
Amadeus Cho.
And then
Korean-born
Hulk?
American.
Did you just search Hulk? That's what I'm looking for. I don't know what else you're reading me. You may as well
He's the
be reading me.
Brawn. He's the Brawn. That's his name. He became the Hulk for a time after absorbing Bruce Banner's gamma radiation, and even though the classic Hulk is back in action, Amadeus continues to fight for what's right in a new role as Brawn.
Totally awesome Hulk. That's what I was looking for. Just
That's
had to
not
Google
on here.
images.
Not under
Taylor?
the notable
Nope.
aliases.
That's what it's called. It's called. Taylor, where are you on Symbiote Land?
Oh, I would like to see it just done differently. Like, don't get me wrong. If you get the black suit Spider-Man, I'm totally okay with it. I'm a sucker for
You're
that,
good
and I'm
on
a
it.
sucker for Venom. But at the end of the day, I think this is a show where we've gotten so many cool crossover, mix, mash ups, just different things happening. So throw that symbiote on. I don't know. Like I said, yeah, Charlie Cox is Daredevil. Throw it on to anyone. Like, take your pick. And when we got that list of all those other characters, I don't know all of the characters, like from Webb, Harry's new organization. I don't know all of them, but I know that there was Electro. I know that there was like Ned Leeds on there too. So like, let's have fun with it. Let's get some crazy.
He should be
like
Hobgoblin. That's what I
crossovers.
want for my boy Ned. He's
Ned,
gonna be
let's
Hobgoblin,
go.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll see it in season 2, right? Like at least
hope
this
so.
Ned will for sure. At least I put my money on
Yeah.
that.
We need to get Hobgoblin back in the modern. I feel
We
like
do. It's been too long. Yeah, and then Grey Goblin.
A tier
Great
villain.
Goblin, yeah.
I feel like I'd put Hobgoblin at an A tier.
I would, but I don't think he is for the general
Yeah.
audience. I don't
Just
think
the look
anyone-
alone puts him so
Yeah.
high on my list.
It's so fantastic, and it's
Yeah.
a great break from. I think here, because clearly they got Norman, they're going for Green Goblin. That's always been my pitch for MCU. Is okay if you don't want to do because William and they've done it before, do fucking Hobgoblin. I know. Okay, someone say, okay, look at Ned Leeds. There's other Hobgoblins you got to make, and I don't want his friend to be. I don't want that Ned to be Hobgoblin, but there's other versions. So.
Yeah, just in closing, the symbiote planet thing that was creeping through, that was crazy. And Doctor Strange just like containing the creature in like his portal prison, and then just doing all his magical spells, and then creating that barrier and setting like his nuke and just exploding it inside of its own part of the galaxy. There's just so much of that fight was just fantastic. I really liked it, and yeah, I think my heart stopped when the little symbiote got snipped when the portal closed, and it was like flying forwards, and you see a scene of like Peter lurching for it. I thought the thing's just gonna latch onto him right away, but it didn't. So yeah, Norman obviously found it, as we saw, which is good, but I'm just looking forward to seeing where they go with it.
Or I wonder, because I'd be fine with it with this show, because it's just doing its own thing. I do wonder if the other route, if they have Norman use it somehow, and that's how we get to Ultimate Goblin, which is Goblin as like a Hulk instead of him the
Ooh.
Collider. So, because they've not really done, like, I think they were going to maybe do that in the the Garfield one. They kind of have to that. They've never done the movies. I don't love that type of goblin, but I could see them maybe using some symbiote for Ultimate Goblin, and then hey, maybe that's how you get Cho in there too. He can turn the Hulk, and then he's Mega Goblin. They fight, so
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know. Let's take our next ad break, and we'll be right back. Okay. We are back. Anything else we didn't mention on that little time travel sequence there? The big, I can't remember what they called it. Better than light speed travel.
Following it, when Doctor Strange and Peter have like their little conversation, really, I thought it was great. It was really cool seeing the two heroes working together. Really, really loved that. But I missed this the first watch through and caught it after the fact. The Watcher Easter egg. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you catch it after the fact?
totally
Did you
missed
see an internet post about it?
Oh, it was an internet post. So I went back and watched it. And I was
He
like,
made some-
holy
yeah,
shit.
I feel like
Yeah,
it was
I
right
did.
in my face. It was pretty hard to.
He is
miss,
right in the
yeah.
face.
I feel like it was bigger than the X-Men one we got. So yeah, it was there, but
Much
yeah.
more bigger, yeah.
When I saw
was
it, I'm
fun.
like, it's so funny, Taylor. I'm just so used to like your edits. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is a Taylor Field edit, and then I had to remind myself I was
You were on the
watching
show.
off of Disney Plus.
When we,
I looked at your quality. It was good.
I have my answer, but if it's not an F4, like when are they doing this in live action? Like, I feel like it's gonna happen soon, right? Just send that Watcher.
Yeah.
I do think it's gonna happen in F4. Hence why I drafted the man. Oh wait, that's a WAT too, right? Is that, can I get that confirmed? That'd be some points for me, wouldn't it?
No,
be,
that's
actually?
a Rectus, I think.
No, I think it's a
Here?
That looks like a Watu.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that would be a raw too. I'd give you that.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm gonna get that
Nice.
confirmed, but that's good.
Good
I like
job.
that. But yeah, it's kind of funny because obviously he still has more Norman as his mentor, but not really now because at the end he decided he's gonna be his own man. Not so much because Norman's being bad. Like he did say it a little bit, but it's not like Norman's villain. I gotta leave him. Just like he didn't fully trust everything that's happening, so I got to do my own thing. It felt like it was like probably he would view it as like a amicable split, but I feel like just the way things have worked out, it's only been 2 times, but it feels like Doctor Strange is more closer to them, to kind of what Tony was in the 616 or the Sacred Timeline, right? So it's kind of fun to have that flipped where Strange and him eventually do get closer. So I will be curious to see, do we get Strange again? Does he ever bump into Tony? Obviously Cap's on the run, but I feel like they're trying to set some sort of a semi-relationship with Strange, and if the symbiote comes back into play, I could see Strange coming back and more conversation. So I just felt like they're more of that's more the mentee you want to have versus Norman. So
Absolutely. I feel like the use of Strange, like I don't need him like at the start of next season or anything. Like I don't even necessarily need him next season, but like I like just the little drop of wisdom that he gave to Peter, and honestly just like all of the little cameo, I mean there have been many, but like the Daredevil sequence with Peter, obviously they clash, but I just love that dialogue, so I'm very intrigued on who they're going to be, just tossing in next season as well, like whether it is Tony or, as you already mentioned, Cap is on the run, but maybe he'll run right into Peter, who knows. We got the Worldwide Engineering Brigade, which that's really hype. Taylor, you mentioned a couple of the names on there. I just don't understand the marketing of this. How he's supposed to it's supposed to be Peter Parker that's doing this, and then it's like they're just like ripping off the Spider-Man merch, and just how is nobody gonna think about
someone's gonna find out
why?
real quick.
Yeah, I loved it as soon as I saw it, because when I was in Disneyland, as my hat is, like that was the the theme at the Avengers campus for all the Spider-Man stuff was the Worldwide Engineering Brigade. So I'm like, man, I'm ahead of the curve. I already got their merch and everything. This is fucking hype. So I'm just kind of intrigued on like what the extent of what that is going to be. If it is just another Oscorp type thing, not an evil menacing one, but just like a place for science, and if they really go into the details on like who's funding this and why is it related to Spider-Man, and like do the people that work there know about Peter? I don't. I would hope not. I like the crew that we have right now, like especially just having Nico knowledgeable of what's going on now, like she can help cover for Peter, as we saw when they're doing the presentations. Like it's just a fun trio that we have right now. So yeah, I'm just thinking about where the web is going to be impacting Peter, and just the overall storyline of what's going on there. Like yeah, how maybe they're gonna be designing suits now for like Peter. I fucking love the suit that we have now, the classic suit. They did not disappoint. It looks so gorgeous. But yeah, just he's always getting new tech.
Yeah, I really don't know how it's going to play. And for me, it felt like it was just to give Harry something to do and to keep our characters, like the interns, around because they can't be with Norman. Obviously, I feel like that gives us a Lizard episode, right? Because you got Connors bouncing around, so you got that. I think Cho was in there for a reason. So I think some Hulk stuff will happen at some point. So that's maybe where you could bring in a Bruce Banner because they're signing stuff. I imagine he's just bankrolling with his daddy's money somehow. I'm not sure if Norman would be like, stop doing that, but maybe Norman might be impressed by it. Like he's taking some sort of initiative, right? Because he has to. Because Harry's not in high school, right? He's older than Peter Nico.
I think he's older.
So yeah, like I think Norman might look at it as like, oh, this is great, but also Norman might use it as like a way to still keep tabs on Peter and everybody, like without Harry's knowledge, though, right? Like just a way to like, oh, I'm just checking up on my son's thing, or like it doesn't feel weird that. Because it shouldn't feel weird that Harry and Norman would be hanging out because they're father and son, and they haven't had like a breakup moment. Harry's jealous of him at times, but I feel like that would stop a lot in season 2 because Peter's no longer working with him side by side. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's just to keep some of those characters busy and around, because if they just don't trust Norman, they break off. When does Peter see Connors and Cho and even Harry again, right? Harry and him are friends now, so you could do that. But I mean, like even carrying that thread of the Norman, Harry, Peter storyline, I think it's just to keep them all together. What they're actually going to do, I really don't know. I really, I'm curious. So
Yeah, very interested. Like what the Norman like inclusion of, because he's gonna be interacting with Peter in some way, shape, or form.
yeah.
But like Peter really, like I don't know if I can trust that individual anymore. But like Norman's also just, he's got a silver tongue. Like I feel like he warms up Peter's heart in a certain way that Peter puts his guard down, even though he does know that he shouldn't trust him. Like he just went through a big thing at the Oscorp museum. Not museum. I don't know.
Should have
why I
been a
used that,
big
but-
red flag going to the secret underground facility and seeing all this stuff. Dr. Connors was even freaking out. Like,
Oh yeah. I used your technology to make a master torture device, and we're gonna use it right now. It's like, Jesus Christ. Can you even do this? Neat. Cool. Where do we want to go next?
Nico busted out some magic. That
Oh
was
yes,
confirmed.
Nico
So.
Minoru.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to have her on the squad next year. Obviously, she's talking to her mom, but I think that's just to have.
Is her mom like a big comic book character or anything?
Her mom's actually a villain, so that's what's
Oh,
interesting, because she is a part of the comic book The Runaways, and that's what happens is a bunch of kids that are friends that group together, but they find out that their parents are like a Masters of Evil group in the Marvel Universe, like they're all bad people, so they run away. So yeah, I'm not sure what they'll do with that. They probably will change that a little bit, but yeah, I'll be curious. The only thing I just don't want is, because like I said, if we got Connors and Cho and we got her, I don't want it to become like Ultimate Spider-Man the TV show, not the comic book where it's Spider-Man and his like mini Avengers. I still primarily want to be Peter. So I'll accept Nico, but that's where I just worry with there's other heroes around. So I hope they just kind of get sprinkled and then we never get to a point where it's Peter and the team. It's like I watch Spider-Man to see Spider-Man. If you want to do a spin-off of, Spider-Man and his friends or the Defenders, whatever, sure. But I don't want there to be like a mini Avengers team. But I'll be curious. And I'll be curious too when she shares that with Peter, because she gave Peter a bunch of shit about keeping a secret. Obviously, they figure that all out. That's all good. But is she going to be telling him right away now that she's talking to her mom? Has she been doing that the whole time? A little hypocritical if she's mad at Peter about the lying and she's a fucking sorcerer. Or maybe that's where Strange comes back in, right? Because maybe there's some stuff she can't control or do, and he's like, well, I know somebody that way, so yeah.
Yeah, I could see that being a plot point. Just the mother dynamic. Maybe she brings her back. She's fucking evil or something. Who knows?
My ex-lover, Norman, I must see him. And then,
Yeah, exactly.
she didn't look like it wasn't going to save her when that Oscorp bus was going to be just plashing into her there. Spider-Man had
No.
to save her.
I think she's relatively new at this, I think, the magic.
It's very like ritualistic too, right? Like she
Yes.
had her like
You can't-
summoning
Well, she held her
circle.
amulet up, hoping that would help.
She did, yeah, before it got, but it's kind of like the early stage of Harry Potter, right? Where you gotta flick and you gotta say it. Where when you're a better wizard, you just do it with your mind. You don't gotta say it.
I think
so.
it's like the Dane Cook skit. When you see a tire coming at you, you just instinctively put your hand up, even though it's not gonna fucking do anything.
No, she was dead. If that didn't work and he wasn't there, yeah.
I love that moment though when he does save her, and then she like realizes like what like what Spider-Man the hero actually is, and
Yeah.
their little makeup there. I liked it. Although like, why do it in the alley? Like, take his mask off. Like, just fucking people are walking right by. Like, just zoom her up to the roof. Have this conversation on the roof. But
What do you think? What do you think he was gonna say on the phone right before she got almost murdered? Because I feel like we're gonna get something like him saying something else, like, oh, the relationship will be more, but I don't think
where is
that's the
this?
case.
Remind
When she
me?
was walking down the street, she was listening to Peter's voicemail, and it cut off
Oh.
right before he's like, "I just really want to say," and then it cut off, and she screamed, and the
Yeah,
vehicle
they're so
almost
worried
killed her.
they're gonna do this love story.
They're not
No,
gonna do
I
the
like.
love story.
I think it's
Taylor.
gonna be her and Harry. To be honest, I
No,
feel
I
like
don't
they
think
got a
so.
lot
No.
more
Her and
chemistry.
Pearl.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Pearl
Yeah.
called Peter, so they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Smooshing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think she's kind of like the Liz Allen, where I don't think she's going to be the final love interest, and I think you'll get an MJ or a Gwen Stacy or somebody. But yes, I think they're going to dabble in that. I think the reason they're going to keep her around and be a love interest is because that's going to play into when Tombstone eventually makes the villain swap, and they can do some juicy stuff there, triangles and everything.
Fuck my wife?
So, yeah, you fuck my 2-month-old girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like what they're doing, Nico. I like that character. I like she's part of the team, and I like that they didn't rush into the power set. I hear what you're saying, Travis, about like an Avengers Spider-Man team. I don't want that either, but just Spider-Man and then his friend that's like a novice with magic. Like, that's a fun dynamic, like she can do a couple things. Maybe by the end of season 2 she's starting to really get stronger with the spells, and then season 3, 4, 5, that's when she's popping off and just zapping people with her Avada Kedavras.
Or we don't even know. Could be setting up for a villainous turn, right? We think because that like this show we talk about does a lot of different twists. Maybe it's like a type of version where some dabbles in some dark magic. This mom she's talking to is not a real mom, and I could easily see, not saying a villain that he kills off and they're villains forever, but something where it could be villainous. So
It's like the talk to me plot line where you think
Yes.
that you're talking to your mom and then another spirit or something.
you never know, right? It's magic. Don't fuck with it.
Don't fuck with it. It's freaky. There's probably other things that haven't said, but just in my note, I was really expecting an end credit scene, and I was mostly because I was really sure that we were gonna see where that spider landed, because in episode 1 it landed on a backpack. I was bringing up Cindy Moon, the great and powerful, but
Yeah, that's right.
didn't get any. It's just like not necessarily that I'm upset maybe that we didn't get Cindy, because I just think that character is awesome, and I want her in a Spider-Man show for sure.
This would kind of be perfect because it's supposed to be the same Peter, or not the same Peter that bit Peter, the same spider that bit Peter. So that would work.
Exactly. And like that's what I thought. Like in episode 1, I was talking about that, how like that spider landed on that backpack. They really didn't show who that was. So I thought, since we were getting like from the different perspective of that same shot, I thought we were gonna see the person lift it up, and then I was just looking for a Cindy Moon character. But they didn't even like address it at all, which is like either kill the spider or like answer what's going on with it. Like I don't like that it's just missing, like unaccounted for. And I guess next season or a future season you could like bring back to that, like that was that same spider. But I just feel like they missed their opportunity to at least show that it was going somewhere. It just seems like they missed to talk about that. I don't know.
Okay. What I think they could do is, obviously they did not do this, minor spoilers for the Captain America movie, but I think we all knew this. In the comics, when Red Hulk debuted, for a while they didn't say who it was. It was just a mystery. And I could see them do something like that with Silk, that it's a mysterious character, and that's why they don't want to show who it is. Like, we obviously would know, right? But as you're watching the show, it's like, hey, who's this other spider person? They good, they bad, whatever. And then you get to, it's a school. Plus, if it ends up being a love interest, they probably, what's her name again? I always forget. The Tombstone's ex-girlfriend.
Pearl.
Like, if they want to deal with that, they might not want to have a love interest right away if they want to go that route. So I could see that being something they, maybe Silk's around, they reveal it near the end, and then season 3 you could maybe have them together. Obviously, they're not going to be doing what they did in the comic panels of these very vivid drawings, them just banging it out. But I would like that if that'd be my only way, because I agree with you that I feel like it's a little odd that we don't circle back to it. So if season 1 or season 2 just opens up with like, hey, I'm Silk and this is what happened, I wouldn't like that. But if they were to play it as kind of like a mystery, like, hey, who picked up the backpack, and you're kind of thinking like, hey, who could it be? Because maybe they'll change it. Maybe it wouldn't be her. But that's my pitch. But I think you'll get it answered. I don't think they did that accidentally. I'd be surprised. So
I like what you pitched there. How like we meet that character, and then once you find out more about the character, then they talk about that. But I don't want it to just seem like it was a mistake. Like they just I forgot to cover that, because that's just messy.
Kind of like this season, right? Like to us, the Doctor Strange symbiote thing was just Doctor Strange's in a fight, but then the finale revealed there's way more to it. So the same thing of like we meet Silk, and then they eventually reveal like no, there's way more to it. Remember season 1, that spider? Well, here you go.
Show. Anything we didn't talk about in either of the episodes?
We talk about Richard Parker?
We did not talk about Richard Parker. Yes. Richie, we got Dick Parker in here.
So this is like an Amazing Spider-Man 2 deleted scene come to life, right?
It very much is, yeah. The dad is alive, but this time he's in a prison, so that's
He's in prison,
that's a lot different.
Must something to do with Spider-Man, right? That was the line he said.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Won't forget you, buddy. That's what May says to him when he leaves. Yeah, I mean, at first I thought it was like a Ben or something, because I'm just so not used to seeing Richard Parker like used other than like flashbacks. I guess Amazing Spider-Man kind of did a little bit of stuff like that with just him working with Connors and that stuff. But I was just I'm so not used to dealing with Richard Parker, so I'm very, I think, just interested in the dynamic of Peter not only having a dad, but like he's in prison for a reason, and like just I don't know, people get in prison for various things, but just the way that he was like talking to May and like carrying himself in the conversation, I'm like, this guy's sus. This guy's done some crime, and he's not upset with his decisions, or maybe not. Maybe that's not the best way to phrase it, but yeah, I feel like he's a grimy guy, at least for how that scene was played out. So. They got to meet at some point, right? Peter and Richard.
Yeah, to me, it's just a question of does Peter know that he's in there? And it's just kind of like, screw your dad, he's a criminal, I don't talk to him, right? Or is it like, your dad's dead? I don't think they ever... Did he ever say his parents were dead in this show? Like,
that's what I was trying to think about, because I think he said he lost his parents or something, because him and Harry are like talking about losing the mom. Yeah, and then in that scene, I remember thinking that he didn't like specifically say his parents. He was like, I lost my mom too. So I was, but like I also just, it's probably just because Harry's talking about the mom here. Like that's probably what. But like, I don't know.
So I'm interested in that dynamic. I'm interested to see if there's anything May meeting him, whether he thinks his dad's alive or whatever situation were to cause drama for May to go there. I think that gives more for May to do, because I don't think you need to have May in every episode, but I think much like the MCU, Aunt May in this show's she could also be dead. Like that's why in No Way Home I was finding them killing Aunt May, because like you guys really don't do anything with her. Same with this show, they don't really do anything with Aunt May, right? She just pops in every once in a while, so this could give her some agency. I'm curious. I think he's alive for once in a while in some stories, because sometimes they've been like spies, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But I think they also got to be careful to tiptoe, not just make him like Peter's Uncle Aaron, because that's the situation you could get into, right? Where it's a loved one that's a criminal. And that's because either way, there's been times where it's like Spider-Verse, where it's, he's a criminal, but he's meaning to do well and a sympathetic character. And then there's times where it's like, oh, fuck Miles, I don't care about my nephew. So I saw this, interesting twist, but I want to see this to me is definitely more about the follow-up, because like I said, that comes into, because of course, it's not Uncle Aaron, but if you just do kind of the same archetype, it might feel a little repetitive, because there's also just so much they set up in season 2 where it's like, I don't even know if this is needed yet, right? So for me, it's a wait and see, but I think it's a good hook to end on, and it's something that's like, okay, a lot of theory crafting can happen. So
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh fuck. Okay. I was just gonna quickly say I saw something online. Some people were talking about maybe pairing the Venom with Richard Parker, like that's just having Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know how that would like play out, unless Norman is just really conniving and like I don't know why he would choose specifically Richard Parker to do that, or like how that would play out just because he is behind bars. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
or it's just a mistake, right? Like his dad gets out and
He's
he's
in a
hanging around.
church.
Yeah.
Please God, kill Peter
Kill Peter
Parker.
Parker, my son. Yeah.
I also read a possibility that like what if he killed Peter's mom? Because you just get this, you get this weird dialogue too, where he's like, "How's my son?" or something like that. Like he's
Licking his lips.
like a fixation on his kid, and maybe he did do something bad.
Be interesting. I don't think they'll go that dark. I don't think they'll have him
No,
kill
I don't think
his.
so.
Yeah.
I got my long legs on.
Yeah, but interesting for sure.
It's like, is there Spider-Man storylines where like Richard Parker is just still a lot? Like I've just never
Yeah,
seen this before.
like I said, I
don't
think there's times where it's like him and his mom are at, it's one of them or both of them are like MI6 something something everything. It's not like a
and they're
very
just in
popular
hiding
one,
like
but
the whole time. Is
yeah,
that the
and hiding or
explanation?
something like
Oh,
that.
God, I hate
Yeah,
that.
but nothing that I've ever glommed onto. Because same thing, like I just like his parents dead, as weird as it sounds, you know. So
It's simple. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm used to. Cool. Yeah, I think I got kind of everything. Do you think Osborn's gonna make his army of spiders still? Like I know he kind of lost the main candidate, but I imagine they would have had some data to I don't know make the spider bots. I remember that being like an arc in,
I was
in
gonna say
Spider-Man's
I
story.
could see that because if you get Alistair Smythe or something like that, there's the fucking spider slayers and stuff. So I could see there being still an army of them.
Yeah. I feel like I don't love that storyline, so it didn't really
Me
get me
either.
too excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. No, I don't really have anything else to say. Oh, actually, a couple beautiful camera shots. Specifically, when the scorpion fight was happening, there was one shot where the camera was like at a window. Peter like jumps to it, and then like the claw comes at the window, breaks it, and just overall great design with the fight scenes and everything. They're yeah. No, I just very visually pleasing, and the score is phenomenal. I don't think I skipped a single intro the entire season. Just gets me so fucking juiced that
Yeah,
like
that's a good thing.
modern take on like the classic. Here comes the Spider-Man. Like man, show is just so good. So I hope they don't really change it honestly in season 2. I hope that's just like the
Yeah, I
same
don't think they
theme
will.
overall. I like the individual covers that they have. You know, every time like a unique comic book cover. So.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love the show, guys. Overalls, I would start 10 out of 10. Perfect show for me.
I'm just gonna start because I'd be the lowest, but
Yeah. I was too excited.
yeah, you jump right to 10 out of 10 best, and then he ends the show. Doesn't let anyone else rate it.
Yeah, that's it, folks. We all thought 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
One more quick thing, I guess. That whiteboard with the names. There's Pym Labs, Alchemax, and Spider Woman, or a few other things that are tied to there.
Ooh. Julia Cornwall.
Cornwall
Just kidding.
out of here.
It'd be, what's the other lady's name? Not the Julia Carpenter one. Drew?
Jessica Drew.
Jessica Drew, yeah.
Because it's Jennifer. It's not Jennifer Carpenter, right? No, that's the
Julia Carpenter.
Julia Carpenter. Okay, Jennifer Carpenter's Deb actress from Dexter. So I'm like,
Yeah.
too many Cornwalls, Carpenters going on. Yeah, they got lots to
Cornwalls.
play with.
We'll never
so-
talk about Cornwalls ever again.
Yeah, I'm for now an 8.75. I don't think you just get tonight because, like I said, I think the first 4 episodes were a bit more rockier for me than for you guys. That was the time we're like, okay, and maybe that's what I said for now because this is a show that I think I probably will rewatch. All the girls loved it, so it was a good time. So maybe it's something that okay, I got the whole story, the time travel stuff. But I think there's a couple episodes where it's like, this. I didn't love the first 4, particularly the first 3. I thought, okay, sometimes maybe it was, I don't even want to say a little too kiddie, but it just didn't hook me. I was not waiting to come back later on, where I think the middle portion did a good job. That I think maybe even you could cut one episode for some setup and stuff, right? That even though they're only 22-minute episodes, there's stuff like even the Oscorp episode for me was like, a lot of this was just kind of fine, right? And it also is based upon, we'll see what happens down the road, right? If they take time for me to kind of meet and get to know Cho, but we never really do anything with them, that's gonna hurt it or help it if they do something with them. So I don't know. That's the tough thing when it's this is definitely a season where they kill the threat of Scorpion and even the symbiote, but it does not feel like you could stop watching the show and be fulfilled, right? It's one of those where it's like other seasons are going to raise or lower the show for me, but that's where I am, just under a 9, 8.75.
Did it feel? Close us out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go probably 8.5 out of 10. Just because
Wow,
I'm
lower than
I'm
me. What?
Descend in
What?
order.
What the
It's
fuck?
rare.
I was
It's the-
8.75.
0.75.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought I'd be lower than you.
For me, it's just, I mean, I could see myself going a 9, but I think that's too generous. The first few episodes, it really did not do a great job for me, like pulling me in right away. Like it took some time, and I think the first week I was like, yeah, I was warm, but I wasn't necessarily like super hot on it. And after that, then it was like, okay, now we're in it. Now I'm really liking what we're getting to up to where the finale was. And I think in retrospect, the finale makes the first few episodes much better, but I would have liked it if those first episodes were already better when I started the show, right? Like, so that's
Be
just the way it
better.
is.
Don't be
Yeah,
greedy
better.
now.
Yeah. So ultimately, though, like I know I say 8.5, but I love the show. It's fantastic. It's great, and I'm eagerly waiting to rewatch it. I was watching it with my daughter, and like she was like the intro music that you were talking about, Kirkland. Oh, she's dancing to it, and like she's loving it, and all that. So I don't feel like the show holds back necessarily too much either. When you got like Spider-Man being stabbed by Scorpion, being rushed to like ER, it's like, holy shit. Like, okay, so they definitely take some risks here, and I'm excited to see where this will go in season 2. So bravo, kudos.
Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's season 1 of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We'll be back for next season. When do we have a rough estimated time on the release?
No, I'm hoping next year, but again, with animation, you never know. Like, obviously, the Invincible, I think 97's like 2026, so we could be waiting 2 years for this. I don't know, but
Yeah.
at least we got something tangential with, like, we're going to be talking about Daredevil. He was in the show, so that
Yep.
starts in 2 weeks, so kind of get some New York crime fighting fix. So there's another guy. Get Kingpin in the show and make him, like,
He'd fit.
not comedically, like, Spider-Verse big, but make him, like, 90s animated show big. So that there's a want for me. Hobgoblin, Kingpin, get those guys in there. So
Absolutely, they would fit. There's room for them. Let the show go on for just infinite seasons. Let's go. Unless the quality drops, then pull the plug. Anyways, we got plenty of content. Keep your eyes on the feeds. Until next time, we'll be here. We'll see you.
Bye.